Okay, good morning and welcome to this session of this video concerning Active Directory on Windows Server 2008 Release 2 and update. Okay, just be very attentive on this session. We will see how Active Directory function in Windows Server. The objective of this session today is describe Active Directory feature in Windows Server 2008 Release 2, discuss the importance of this feature in our customers, and demonstrate how some of this feature will benefit our customers. All right, let's have a view on the agenda. What new in Active Directory for Windows Server 2008 Release 2? What is new is the PowerShell, a command, a CMD, let the Active Directory Administrative Center, best practice analyzer, recycling bins for Active Directory, manage service account, offline domain, join, authentication insurance, health model and management pack, Active Directory to demonstration, and we end with a conclusion. Now, let's have a view about the PowerShell for Active Directory. The command line scripting for administrative, configuration, and diagnostic tasks. The past limitation was have more than 30 command line tools for administering Active Directory, but they are not consistent on their usage. And now we have the difficulty to compose this tool to achieve complex tasks. And the future takeaway, more than 85 Active Directory command led for comprehensive Active Directory DS and Directory LDS administration and configuration. And we also have the communicate using web service protocol, and it can be used to manage Windows Server 2008 and Windows Server 2003, and a domain controller using Active Directory web service that we download. The PowerShell advantage on Windows Server is the consistent vocabulary and syntax, predictable discovery, flexible output, and formatting. Command-led can be easily composed to build complex operation. End-to-end manageability with Exchange that involve group policy. The PowerShell provider model. The provider session server context and the security context and path context, and also the enable best practice sharing across the connection. The combination of those command-led and provide mean familiar mode for user, and they perform operation in Active Directory that are similar to the file system for registry, such as the rename, the remove, etc. And here we have a little view on the Active Directory PowerShell, as we have here. In the case that we use this demo mount, let's check here the name, provider, the road, my local ADS Active Directory, the DC. This is a view of the Active Directory PowerShell. Right now, let's see some of the command type in the command-led of Active Directory. We have all those group of command here that you can see. The add directory, Active Directory computer service account. You can add main controller password replication policy. We have add Active Directory fine grain D password policy subject, and all those lists above are those commands that can be used from here until we reach the set add user, uninstall Active Directory services account, and unlock Active Directory account. This is a different command that can be used. Right. Administrative Center for Active Directory. We increase the productivity of the IT pros by providing a scalable task-oriented UX for managing Active Directory. The past limitation of this service was non-task-oriented UE equals customer pain. For example, resetting the user password. That is what the limitation that was observed. Representation of MMC not scalable for large data set. And the future takeaway was the task executed through PowerShell command line set. The task-oriented administration model will support for large data set. The consistency between client the consistency between client and UE management capabilities. The navigator experience designed to support multi-domain and multi-forest environment. That is those future takeaway. Now let's have a view of how those interface of Active Directory. While we are configuring this here is the Active Directory Administrative Center. As you are seeing here, we have this window that is showing your screen. You see there where you to type the password, they confirm the password, and the place where you can have a global search. And that is the setting where we are configuring. And right away now we have the Active Directory reset password and the global research that will be involved in all the administrative component. So as you want to resume it, we have the progressive disclosure, the task-oriented, the PowerShell-based instrumentation, the multi-domain and multi-forest. And let's have a view on the best practice analyzer. Here we focus on the identify deviation from best practice to help our customer to better manage the Active Directory deployment. The past limitation of this feature was not easy to automate validation of Active Directory configuration against best practice. And the future takeaway now is analyze Active Directory setting that cause most unexpected behavior in customer environment, and leverage PowerShell commandlet to gather runtime data, make recommendation in the context of the deployment, and available through Server Manager BPA runtime tool. That's what we can say. And the best practice analyzer first set of the scenario in the version 1.0 of the BPA focus mostly on the common domain name server issue, and we have two such components such as a such property such as checking CRV record for DC and register with the domain name server, and the EAA record of a DC and register with the domain name server too. And we have the DC has valid host name, the schema name master and the domain naming master of XSMO are recommended to be on same machine, and the RID and PDC recommended to be on one machine. Each domain is recommended to have at least 2 DC. As you are seeing here on this Server Manager represented here, this is a view of all what we are seeing. And this is the representation of those functionality here. We have here the Windows Server, and we have here the Windows Server 2008 Release 2 edition. So this is the former Windows Server that we knew with the GUI, the client, and the server. We will see what will happen. We have here the ADU and the ISCC, the RDDT, the MMC, and the WSH, and the RDSE. Okay, and now there are the protocol like protocol LDAP, and those protocol, they are what will be used to configure the information between the client and the server. Especially there are some protocols that are really secure, And the addition, or what happened here now, you have the SDSP, the SDSS, the AM, and the SDSAD, and we have the core, and they have the web services, the WCF .NET that will proceed. Yes. Let's have a feedback for you to see what really happened again. Yeah, we want to compare the Windows Server 2008 and what we have today, Windows Server 2008 release 2. You have to have a comparison. Let's see what happened here. We have the web services. Yes. Okay. The recycle bin for Active Directory now. The customer can undo an accidental deletion of an Active Directory. The past limitation was that accident object deletion caused business downtime. Today user cannot log on access corporation resources. And accident deletion are the number one cause of Active Directory disaster on the recovery scenario. And the future takeaway is the recycle bin for Active Directory and Active Directory LDS and DS object. Future enabled with a new forest functional level. Require all DCS in the forest to be Windows Server 2008 release 2. For Active Directory LDS, all replica must be running in a new application mode. Recycle bin for Active Directory object life cycle. This is what happened. Live object in this period of time. I have Tonsbone object, the Windows Server release 2. The recycling be enabled. If not enabled, behavior is similar to Windows Server 2008. And this the protocol LRDP, the address that you will follow, and the LRDP will respond on the recycle bin object, the delayed recycle bins between this period of time or 180 days. The live object will remain and the garbage collection. This is how he will go to the recycle bins and dwell there for 180 days. Manage services account. Simple management of service account past limitation was the management of individual account for service is cumbersome, and the periodic maintenance often cause root outage. For example, resetting service account password. And in that case now, the future takeaway was a manageable solution for address isolation need for service and better SPN management in Windows 7 domain functional mode. Lower TCO from reducing service outage from manual password resets and related issue. One managed service account per service per box. No human intervention for password management. That's what I will bring out. And offline domain join. It enabled easy provisioning of machine of data center. And the past limitation was reboot needed for domain join, inability to prepare the machine to be domain join while offline. And the future takeaway, ability to provision machine account in the domain to prepare operating system image for mass deployment. And we have also machine domain join initial boot, reduce step and time needed to deploy in the data center. And we have the authentication assurance. Application can control resource access based on authentication strength and method. The past limitation here was customer cannot use authentication. Customer cannot use authentication type of authentication strength to protect corporate data. For example, control access to resources based on claims such as use of smart card for long on the certificate use 2048-bit encryption. It cannot work here. And the future takeaway in the administrative takeaway was that the administrator can map various property, including authentication type and authentication strength, to an identity. And we, based on information during authentication, this identifier are added to Kerberos ticket for use by application. And the future is enabled with a new domain functional level. All domain controller in the domain need to be Windows Server 2008 Release 2 DC. And as we are taking the case of the health model, enable IT administrator to better diagnose and resolve Active Directory issue. In this case now, the past limitation of the diagnostic of information is completely and inconsistent. And the future takeaway here was the continued investment toward the completing to help model and a single authoritative source for information used in management pack, best practice analyzer, and online documentation. Now, what about the management pack? It provides proactive monitoring of availability and performance of Active Directory. The past limitation here was the current management. So the current management pack lacks support for Windows Server 2008 and MOM 2007. And the future takeaway here was, first, it support Windows Server 2008 domain controller, multiple replication latency group, ability to monitor multiple forests from a single management group, and management pack for MOM 2017. Okay, the journey to Windows Server 2008 Release 2. Upgrading to Windows 7 client while keeping existing server, you can use offline domain join. While Active Directory web service is available for existing server, you upgrade to Windows 7 client, you can use Active Directory PowerShell and adapt with all our server. Updating to Windows 7 client while installing one of the more Windows Server 2008 Release 2, let's say one per domain. You can use manage service account. And if you change the domain functional level to Windows Server 2018 Release next time. Yes, in this lesson we were talking about Active Directory Windows Server on 2008 Release 2 update. And the objective here is to know the difference between the normal Windows Server 2008 and the Release 2, so that the administrator, the system administrator, can really know how to choose which operating system the domain of server can really help him. So thank you for watching this session, and I'll see you next time for the next representation. Thank you for being there to support us and watching this video. I hope that it increased more knowledge in your field of study.